Oh man, I really dodged a bullet by not marrying you. I mean, I can't believe that we actually got so close to really doing that. Wouldn't that just be the worst thing in the world? I really just can't wrap my head around how close I got to doing that. After all, you only graduated high school, isn't that right? How could you not have told me that before you and I got engaged? What in the world were you thinking?
I'm sorry, Jack, but I really just can't understand what my educational background has to do with any of this at all. But what's more than that, I just really can't believe that you would invite me over to meet your family and then that you would just make fun of me like that.
Oh, come on, are you serious? Did you really not think that that was gonna happen to you once I figured out the truth of who you really are? I mean, really, what else did you expect when you were trying to worm your way into my elite family? Don't you know that everyone in my family works at one of the largest banks in the country? A lowly little nobody like you would never in 1,000 years be able to become a member of my family. If you really ever thought that you even had a chance to begin with, that just shows how stupid you really are.
Well, fine then, but since we're not getting married anymore, I just really don't understand why you need to keep being so mean to me like this.
Oh, come on, just what in the world makes you think that you're deserving of having someone be nice to you at all? I still just can't believe that you came over to my house to meet my family because you thought that we were still getting married. But at least I seem to have set you straight now that you realize I only invited you over to cancel our engagement. And I just hope that serves to teach you a lesson about trying to worm your way into families that are so much higher than you. You don't belong here, don't you get it?
Do you really think that you're all so great just because your family all went to college? Is that really where all of this is coming from?
We didn't just go to any college, we all went to some of the top schools in our field, and that's why we also have amazing jobs in the finance world now. You know that not just anyone can achieve what my family has been able to achieve, don't you? Then again, I guess that you really wouldn't understand since you barely even graduated high school.
I really just can't believe that you're acting this way, Jack. I mean, don't you have any shame about what you're saying at all?
And just what would I even have to be ashamed of when it comes to you, huh? You're nothing compared to me, and I have every right to talk to you however I want. After all, I was the one who went to college. I was the one who worked hard to get a great job at a bank. I was the one who did all of it, so I have a right to be proud of myself.
You keep talking about how you've done all this to yourself, but I really think that you're only riding the coattails of your family.
You don't know what you're talking about at all. I worked hard and got to where I am because of it. I can't believe that I almost let a girl like you trick me. But I guess I understand why you're being so bitter right now. You were so close to getting in with my family, and now you're just back to where you started.
And I just can't believe that I could have ever trusted that you were a nice guy. Instead, you just tricked me to come over and fall right into your cruel trap. But you know what? I'm glad that you did that too, because at least now I know the truth, and I can just give up on you entirely.
Well, the choice was actually never yours to begin with, if you must know, but you really did have me going for a while. I remember when you took me to where you worked once just so you could try and improve yourself in my eyes. But the thing is, I actually thought the spot didn't even look all that bad. But it was only after that when I learned just how low of a person you really are. And that's when I realized that everything you had been selling to me was nothing but a lie.
You know what, Jack? You can just go on and say whatever you like about me. And I'm sure that you've already made me the butt of so many jokes around the office water cooler. You must be laughing your butt off with all your little banker friends.
Well, I mean, it is a pretty funny story when you think about it, right? I mean, I ended up engaged to a little loser like you. We almost got married. But then at the last second, I figure out the truth and convince you to come to my parents' house, only to find us all there ready to tear you down and cancel the engagement.
That's right, you sure showed me. Well, you know what? I don't even care if you do go around telling all your friends about all the horrible things that you did to me. After all, Who would care about what happened to a little loser like me, right? I bet you all have such a sick sense of humor. And you know what? The truth is that I am really, really sad that you treated me this way. But now all I can really do is laugh about it myself.
Well, I don't really care at all about how you react to this kind of thing. After all, you're just a little loser who was never, ever going to truly marry into my family. I really don't think that you even understand just what's so funny about all of this to begin with. You and I live in completely different worlds. What do you know about anything?
Well, I suppose you're right about that. We do live in different worlds, don't we? Maybe you're right. Maybe I just don't understand.
But don't you worry, since you said it was okay, I'll be sure to talk to everyone at my work about what a loser you are and how I totally embarrassed you in front of my family. So I guess thanks for giving permission to keep reliving that hilarious memory of mine over and over and over again. I'm sure that all the guys in the office will think that it's just hilarious.
You're right. I mean, what was I even thinking? A little loser like me could never even come close to being part of such an elite family of bankers like yourself. In fact, I really should be thankful that you ever even gave me a chance, even if you don't know the full story. I think I might actually cry from how grateful I am.
Well, if you're trying to convince me to take you back, it's far too late for that now. I don't know why I'd ever want anything to do with someone like you ever again. But you know, I do have to say that at least I'm glad to see this turn in attitude from you. I thought that you were going to be so much more bitter about this, but I guess that you just have finally accepted what a loser you really are.
You are exactly right about that. That is exactly what is happening and nothing else. I am just a loser, and that's all there really is to it.
Well, anyways, I don't really see much reason for us to be carrying on this conversation now that we've established just how much better me and my family are compared to you. So have a nice rest of your life, you failure.
Although, I think that I should just correct one little thing that I don't think you've quite realized that yet. The truth of the matter is that I actually graduated valedictorian from Oxford.
Okay, come on now. What is this? I thought that we were through with all the lies. I'm sorry, but it's far too late for you to try and convince me of anything but the real truth from here on out.
So you mean to tell me that that guy really was the one that you were telling me about? I really just had no idea about that at all. You know, had I known, then I never would have done anything in the first place. Julia, you really don't have to apologize for it at all, you know? Well, I mean, you say that, but I was the one who introduced the two of you to begin with. I am so sorry that I did that. I really just had no idea that Jack would end up being that kind of a guy in the end. He always seemed so nice to me, and I thought that he was always so close with his coworkers because he was just a friendly guy. Well, I really just don't want you blaming yourself at all. I mean, the fact of the matter is that you just didn't know the kind of guy that he was, and that's okay. But anyways, I also should have been more careful about trusting him and looking out for red flags. After all, the two of us ended up engaged. Oh, well, that is just so nice of you to say to me, but I still just can't help but feel so guilty over all of this. I mean, maybe I should have just kept my big mouth shut to begin with. I really don't think that you have anything to blame yourself for at all. If anything, I think that the two of us were just tricked by him. I think that Jack is one of those guys that is really good at getting people to think that he's good, but that really he's just a big, huge jerk underneath it all. But I think that if we can, I'd really like to try exposing just who he really is for the whole world to see. I mean, sure, that all sounds good on paper, but how could you even begin to do something like that and get away with it? Do you have any idea on how to make that happen? I don't know. I just know that Jack thinks that he's on top of the world and that nothing could ever take him down from the status that he has. But I think that we could use his overconfidence and take him down hard. I just know that one day he'll take a step too far and that'll do it. Well, as great as I think it would be for that to happen, I really am just not sure about that. I mean, I'm still just a little confused about all this anyways. Why would Jack put you down after learning about where you went to school? Well, the thing is that I just don't think that he ever believed me when I told him where I actually went. All he does is think that I graduated high school here and then just never went to college afterwards. I mean, I guess I understood why he might be suspicious of where I went to school, but I don't think that it's all that rare for people to study abroad anymore anyways. Although I don't really care one way or the other if he believes me or not, it just really isn't any of my business. Man, I mean, that would really frustrate me, to be perfectly honest with you. After all, I think you probably have a much better school record than him. It's ridiculous that he doesn't believe you. Well, I think that maybe some part of him is just too scared to believe that anyone else could achieve more than he could. And I think that really it all goes back to his parents, if you really want to ask me. I think that they're just all rotten, cruel people who look down on others. Well, I suppose I can't really say much about any of this at all, considering the fact that I really haven't done all that much with my life or gone to any fancy schools or anything like that. Oh, come on, Julia. You really have to stop putting yourself down like that. You don't have to be ashamed of that at all. You don't have to go to a fancy school or anything like that to be a good person, you know? And you work so hard at your job, and you're really, really good at it. So I don't think that you have anything to be ashamed of whatsoever. Well, I really am glad you feel that way, because sometimes it can get kind of easy to feel down on myself, you know? But you're also really good about never being mean to me. Of course, you're one of my closest friends, and I would hate to make you feel bad for anything like Jack did to me. But actually, since we're on the subject of all of this, I was wondering if I couldn't ask you for a little favor.
Hey, are you there? Is this supposed to be some kind of joke or something? I mean, really, what the heck's going on here? Why in the world are you showing up on TV all of a sudden?
Oh, I guess you must have seen the interview I gave for my company the other day, is that right? But thanks for checking that out, I guess. I hope that you like what you saw at least. Anyways, is that all you wanted to say?
But, I mean, they showed a picture of you on the TV, and you were in a graduation gown, and the people on TV said that you actually did graduate top of your class from Oxford.
Well, that's what I told you, isn't it? I really don't get why that should be so surprising to you at all. But yeah, I was talking to the reporters who were doing a profile on me, and they said that they really wanted to show that photo and talk about my past.
But I don't understand. You never told me about any of this at all. How in the world did you manage that, and why did you keep it a secret from me all this time?
I really didn't keep anything a secret from you at all, Jack. In fact, I even told you the last time that we talked that I went to Oxford, remember?
But well, okay, sure, you told me all of that, but how was I supposed to know you were actually telling the truth? Did you really think I was just gonna believe what you'd said to me? Why didn't you show me that graduation photo of yours or something? At least if you had shown me that, it would have acted as a kind of proof, you know?
Well, I understand what you're saying, but I just don't really think that I owe you any kind of explanation for anything at all at this point.
I'm still just so confused. You told me that you graduated high school here, but that you never ever went to college. Is that not just lying to my face?
No, I said exactly what I meant to say, and you read into it as much as you wanted to. I told you that I graduated high school here, but that I didn't go to college here. Here being the US, of course. And the truth is that I actually didn't go to college right away. After I graduated, I had to work to help support my family.
So, then you just finished high school, helped out your parents for a while, and then you just went to Oxford? How does someone even do something like that?
Well, what can I say? I guess that I'm just a really studious person, and they really like that about me.
Oh, come on, you can't just brush that off as if it's nothing. You were literally in the top of your class at one of the top universities in the world. That's not nothing.
Well, yes, I know that a lot of people like to make a big deal about me graduating at the top of my class, but I even told you about that as well, remember? Although, unsurprisingly, you thought that was a lie too and just laughed it off.
But that's because I really did think that you were lying to me that whole time. I mean, how in the world was I ever supposed to think that someone like you who graduated high school and then did nothing else was actually an Oxford grad? I think that anyone in their right mind would assume that you were either joking or lying or something. Certainly not that you were telling the truth about any of that.
Well, I don't really know what to tell you. I mean, I told you the truth and you didn't believe me. So I don't really understand how you're trying to spin this back on me.
But Okay, all right, you got me there. You were honest with me, and I wasn't listening when I should have. That much I admit. But now that I finally know the truth about who you really are, how about you and I get back together? I think that you and I would make the perfect couple, now that I know everything.
You really think that I want to get married to you after all that you put me through? And is that all you...
Oh, come on, what are you talking about? Just up until the other day we were engaged to each other and you couldn't be more happy to marry me, right? I just don't understand how your feelings could change for me that strongly in such a short amount of time, you know? And now that I know you went to a good school, I know that my parents would love to have you around.
All you really think there is to say on the matter? You think now that you and your family will approve of me that I'll just come back without any issues at all? You might think that we don't have any problems between us now, but I have a huge problem with you, if you must know. Just why in the world do you think that I would ever want to get with such a cruel and discriminatory man like yourself?
Look, Ashley, I already said that I was sorry about all of that, okay? But I really don't understand where all of this hostility is coming from. I acknowledged that what I did was wrong. What more to it is there?
Do you really just have no shame at all? Do you actually think that you can treat people the way that you treated me all because of where they went to school?
Oh, come on, what are you even talking about? You never ever told me that you went to Oxford. You should have told me from the very start. Obviously, knowing that would have changed the way that I see you.
And that is exactly the problem I have with you. All you care about is people's backgrounds, but you don't actually care about the people themselves.
I really think that you're blowing this all out of proportion. I mean, really. Don't you get that I thought you hadn't even gone to college at all? In fact, you should know that my parents actually did see your little interview on TV as well, and they were absolutely shocked to find out the truth. So please, can't we just go back to the way things were? I think that you and I would make the perfect couple if you just gave me a chance again. Don't I at least deserve that?
What are you talking about? In what world would you ever deserve a second chance after the way that you treated me? Besides, if anyone is going to be deciding if you get a second chance, it is going to be me and not you. Anyways, I have better things to be doing right now, so if you'll excuse me, I think I'll be getting back to my life now.
Wait, no, please, don't go yet. I'm not done saying all that I wanted to say to you, Ashley.
Well, I really don't have anything more than I need to say to you. After all, you were the one saying you were going to make fun of me to all your coworkers, remember? You thought that you were better than me, and your first instinct was to brag about it to others. That's really low, don't you think?
But Okay, you're right. I shouldn't have done that either. But look, I can go back to all of the guys at the bank and explain to them that it was actually just one huge mistake, okay? Is that going to make you happy?
You really just don't get what you put me through at all, do you? I don't really care at all what your coworkers think of me. But the fact that that's the way you decided to respond to everything tells me all that I needed to know about you.
But that's not fair. Besides, you should know that everyone else thinks that I'm a great guy who works really hard.
Right. Well, have you even talked to your boss, Mr. Henderson, about any of all that you've put me through, though?
And just why in the world would I have anything to say to him at all, huh?
Just call him. I think that you would be really interested in what he has to say to you. Although I doubt that you'll be able to get through.
I don't know what you think you're getting up to, but you should know that Henderson is a good friend of mine. But if you really want me to tell him about this too, I'll indulge you. What the heck is going on here, huh? I tried calling Mr. Henderson and he wouldn't pick up. It was just like you said to me. In fact, I tried calling a bunch of people from the office just now and I couldn't get through to anyone at all. What the heck is going on here?
Well, I don't know. Do you really think any of your coworkers would want anything to do with you after the way you treated me? Maybe you should try reaching out to Julia instead. She might have something to say to you.
But, I mean, come on, Julia is a nobody. She just works as one of the grunts. She isn't anywhere near the level I'm at. She should be taking my calls for sure.
You really just don't get it at all, do you? You think it's all about status, but you haven't realized that it's all been slipping away from you.
You're not making any sense at all. Nothing is slipping away from me. I probably just can't reach anyone because it's Saturday right now.
Really sure about that? Maybe just try ringing Julia and see what happens.
Hey, Julia, this is Jack. Do you have any idea where Mr. Henderson is? I can't seem to get a hold of him, and I really need to talk to him right now.
Oh, hello there, Jack. I'm afraid that I'm just a lowly little cog in the wheel who didn't go to any kind of fancy school at all. I don't think that I can help you out at all. Anyways, if that's all that you wanted to talk to me about, I would really appreciate you not communicating with me at all during work hours. I have better things to be doing anyway, so if you don't have anything else to ask me about, I think that I'm going to start ignoring any calls I might get from you.
But, wait, hold on. What are you talking about? You can't be serious about all of this, right?
Oh, I'm afraid that I am serious. But I don't really understand why you're even talking to me at all right now. I thought that you hated talking with people that you thought were beneath you.
No, look, I don't know what's going on or what Ashley's been telling you, but I really just don't want you to think that I think that way. Of course, I think that it's important to treat everyone equally, and especially people who I'm romantically involved with. But the fact of the matter is that if they can't keep up with any of my conversations...
I'm sorry, but why are you telling me any of this at all? I really am just not interested in the least about your warped views of the world. And you should know that the rest of the people from the office are pretty sick of dealing with you as well.
Wait a second, you mean to tell me that the other people in the office also feel this way about me? I had no idea about that at all. How did they even get the idea that I treat people like this?
Well, I think it mostly just comes from the fact that you do treat people this way. And especially when we all go out for company gatherings. You're always bragging to everyone about how things were when you were going to Stanford. You're always going on and on about how the conversation there at your school was so much more classy and refined, and how nobody at the company is even worthy of talking to.
Oh, come on. Are you really trying to tell me that people from the office were getting upset over just a little bit of drunken smack talk at the company outings? Well, it's not my fault if these guys are all just sensitive little babies who can't stand to hear the truth come out of someone who's so much smarter than they all are. I mean, really, am I supposed to feel bad for all the poor little peons beneath me, all because they could never even dream of doing what I've been able to do? I don't really think that's fair of them or you to hold any of what I say outside of the office against.
Well, you know, it's just not just outside of the office at the gatherings where you talk about that kind of stuff, right? I mean, you're always putting people in the office down when you think that you're better than them. You're always going on and on about how you think the entire bank would collapse if it wasn't being held up by your genius. The whole office knows exactly the kind of person that you are, even if you try to put on a charming face when you're in the office.
But that doesn't make any sense to me at all. I try really hard to get everyone to like me, but now you're saying that everyone secretly hates me and knows about how I feel about people who don't have the same level of education as me? How could that be?
It probably has to do with the fact that you're a huge office gossip, and the fact that you think everyone wants to be your friend just because of your degrees. Putting on a charming facade is one thing, but if you just try and gossip and spread rumors about the office behind everyone's back, thinking that nobody is going to trace them all back to you, you're really not as smart as you think that you are.
But I only did that because I thought that everyone liked me in the office. I didn't think that they'd turn around and go tell the person I was gossiping about exactly what I just said about them. Are you really telling me that basically the whole office has figured out that I've had something to say about just about everyone there? And that they've all been able to trace those rumors back to me?
Exactly what I'm telling you has happened. At least I'm glad that your Ivy League brain was able to piece that one together. Honestly, just how stupid could you really get acting like that? But that's not all. Now that the whole office knows just the kind of person that you really are underneath the persona that you show everyone, we've launched an office-wide complaint to Human Resources. So that means that they are going to look into all of that you've been saying, and I don't think that you're going to get off lightly one bit. Do you understand me?
Hold on a second. So not only did you all go behind my back to tell each other the secrets and my thoughts on everyone else, but then you all have the gall to go and report me for those things? I don't see how that's fair at all. I thought that I was able to say those things in confidence to the people that I was speaking to at the time.
You should have thought about that before you went running your big fat mouth. But I guess all I can say to you is that I hope you learned your lesson after this. Because not only did you blow up a potential marriage to someone who your family would have adored and who would not have only been great for your career but is also just an all-around great person, you might have even ruined your career as well.
No, this can't be happening. Things weren't supposed to go this way. I don't believe what I'm reading. Please, you have to do something to help me. Do you have any idea what my family is going to do to me if they found out that I've caused this much trouble?
If you think that anyone in the office is going to give you a hand after all the coattail riding you've been doing, well, I think it's high time that you have a little check-in with reality. After that, the HR office at the bank where Jack and Julia worked processed the complaint and only uncovered more terrible things about how Jack was treating and talking to the rest of the staff. Despite protests from his parents, who were high up in the bank, Jack was let go of his job and became a black mark on his family's otherwise impeccable legacy of pretentiousness. As for me, I just thanked Julia for telling Jack how things were going to be and went back to my life. Of course, I hope the next man I date isn't such a jerk, but at least I know what to look out for. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.